Hello. Have you had moments when you entered into an alliance with someone and later realized that it was a mistake and you were caught up in someone else's scheming and commitments that only limited you? It's time to realize that alliances are traps that constrain your freedom and make you dependent. The world belongs to those who maintain independence and know how to manipulate others. Isn't it time to throw off the chains of alliances that shackle you and become the true master of your destiny? The sages of the past understood. In an alliance with someone, you always become vulnerable, including at the expense of the potential or apparent weakness of the party to which you join. The great strategists of the past knew that joining one side was a path to loss and subjugation to the interests of others. In a world of survival of the fittest, only independent players have real power. Alliances create obligations, and obligations are shackles that prevent you from acting freely. True leaders always keep themselves separate, staying in the shadows to steer the course of events discreetly and effectively. Their independence allows them to pit people against each other and use other people's ambitions and fears to achieve their goals. Once upon a time on the East Coast, there was a fierce struggle within one party for the right to be the nominee for governor. Two seasoned politicians, let's call them Henry and Benjamin, were engaged in a tense standoff, seeking the support of one young but highly influential party figure, whom we'll call Leo. Despite his youth, Leo possessed not only charisma, but also impressive family connections that could play a decisive role in the election. Henry and Benjamin both saw Leo as a key ally and suggested that he go to the polls together as candidates for governor and lieutenant governor. However, Leo was not only smart, but also cunning. He realized that although he himself was still young to run for governor, his future would be determined by how he played out the current situation. Contrary to expectations, Leo did not endorse either candidate. He skillfully manipulated both sides without giving them a definitive answer and stayed above the fray, watching Henry and Benjamin waste resources and lose strength in a fight with each other that was like pouring mud on each other, not even from a bucket, but from a fire hose. His stance of neutrality and wise waiting has impressed his fellow party members. Leo showed not just maturity for his age, but strategic thinking that was appreciated by many influential figures in the party. The primaries came to an end, and Henry was nominated for governor, but that's not even the point. Leo was the party's nominee for lieutenant governor as a candidate with no alternative, and this was not even prevented by stubborn opposition from Henry, who had hoped for Leo's support and did not get it. Leo's wise decision not to get involved in other people's intrigues made him the most obvious choice for the position. In the election, Leo easily took the position of lieutenant governor, cementing his reputation. A few years later, in the next election, his career reached its peak. Leo himself became governor, proving that independence and the ability to stay above the fray often brings more victories than an open struggle for power. So, don't ally yourself with anyone. Only fools rush to join one side. Do not entrust yourself to anyone but yourself. Do not bind yourself to any obligations. By maintaining independence, you will have the opportunity to dominate. Make others fight among themselves, manipulate other people's ambitions and fears. For example, at work, instead of choosing sides in a conflict, remain a neutral observer, pushing both sides into more confrontation. Let them wear themselves out fighting each other while you quietly strengthen your position and gain influence. By maintaining your independence, you avoid the pitfalls of other people's obligations and intrigues, remaining free to maneuver. In this world, the strongest is not the one who has allied with someone, but the one who knows how to make others play by their own rules. Use their ambitions and weaknesses in your favor. Be a puppeteer, not a puppet. Remember, only independent players become true winners. Stay separate, and you will always be one step ahead of those who have bound themselves with obligations and alliances. That's the real power, to be independent and manage others without falling into someone else's traps. Hello. Have you ever had moments when telling about your efforts and difficulties, you notice that people start to feel sorry for you? Have you ever thought that people around you underestimate your achievements just because you share your hard work too openly? It's time to realize that true success is not only the result, but also the art of demonstrating it. It's time to learn how to hide your efforts and thereby appear naturally successful to people. The sages of the past understood that greatness lies not only in achievements, but also in the ability to present them as something easy and natural. The great strategists of the past knew that hiding your efforts was the best way to maintain control and inspire respect. When you show off your accomplishments without revealing all the intricacies and labor put into them, you create the illusion of superiority and ease. In this world, people respect those who reach heights with seeming ease, unaware of the effort expended. Real leaders know how to hide their hard work and make others believe that they could do even more effortlessly. One day, Christian, one of the top people at a prestigious law firm, found himself at the center of events that could change his career. He was always on the front lines but remained in the shadows, doing much of the work for his boss, the firm's general partner, who acted as the lead attorney in litigation. Christian spent years helping to strategize and gather materials for high-profile cases, but was never the one who found himself in the spotlight. That said, he always made sure to demonstrate that his work was easy and effortless, hiding the busy nights and stress that accompanied each trial. One day, on the eve of an important and high-profile trial, the firm's lead attorney was involved in an accident and incapacitated. The firm's partners were in a panic. The case was too important, and the loss of the lead attorney could prove fatal to their reputation. However, because Christian was deeply immersed in the materials and knew all aspects of the case, he was offered the position of lead defense counsel at trial. Christian accepted the challenge. He was well aware that this was his chance to step out of the shadows, but the risks were enormous. The trial was extremely complex, but thanks to his preparation and clarity of thought, Christian handled it brilliantly. His speeches in court were convincing and cold-blooded, and his strategy was well thought out. The judge and jury were impressed by his confidence and skill, and the trial was won. After the trial, Christian did not brag or talk about how much effort he had put into the case. On the contrary, he discreetly stated that it was an easy victory, thanks to competent preparation and a clearly constructed line of defense. His colleagues, who for years had thought of him as a quiet hard worker, suddenly saw him as a true leader. Soon after this triumph, the firm's management could not ignore his success. Christian was promoted to junior partner, and his reputation in the legal community did not just grow, it rose to the highest level. Everyone saw him as a brilliant lawyer who achieved victory with seeming ease, unaware of the effort behind this facade of calm and confidence. So, when achieving success, don't show effort. Your actions should seem natural and performed with ease. All the labor and sweat put into them, as well as all the clever tricks, should be hidden. For example, if you have spent sleepless nights working on a project, never talk about it. Let everyone think it was a simple task for you. Present it as if you acted with no apparent effort, as if you could have done so much more. Don't be tempted to brag about how hard you've worked. It will only invite unnecessary questions. Don't reveal your techniques to anyone, or they will be used against you. This is the real power, to make others believe in your ease and naturalness, hiding the true cost of your success. Remember, the world admires those who reach heights without visible labor. Be smarter, keep your secrets, and control the impression you make. This is your path to true greatness. Hello. Have you ever felt that you were underestimated because you seemed too modest or unremarkable? Have you felt that your accomplishments and abilities are not being recognized simply because you don't know how to present them properly? In a world where first impressions are the most important thing, it's important to be able to demonstrate greatness and confidence to make others respect and admire you. It's time to learn how to present yourself so that everyone sees you as a leader. The sages of the past understood that how you present yourself is how you are treated. The great strategists of the past knew that it's not just about power, it's about showing it. True leaders have always understood that a confident and majestic demeanor commands respect and obedience. When you stand like a lion, confident and majestic, you show that you were born for greatness. This world belongs to those who know how to behave as if they have already reached the top. Only those who demonstrate greatness and self-respect can expect to be respected and recognized by others. One day, a financier named David decided that he could no longer tolerate the workhorse reputation that had plagued him for the last few years of his career after graduating from university. Despite years of hard work and self-development, his co-workers and superiors saw him as nothing more than a quiet doer who could be assigned routine tasks. Realizing that it was impossible to change the attitude of his old company, David decided to change jobs and create a new reputation from scratch. In the new company, the management initially did not know him, and like all new employees, perceived David according to the standard pattern, as another performer who came to the team to fulfill the tasks. However, David, having learned from bitter experience, was not going to let history repeat itself. From the first days, he demonstrated confidence and dignity, as if he had long been a recognized leader. He did not fuss, spoke only in business, avoided unnecessary explanations, and made sure that his words sounded weighty. The key moment came when David was assigned an important meeting with a major client. This was his opportunity to cement his new image. In the meeting, David carried himself like a lion, calm, confident, majestic. He controlled every aspect of the discussion, emphasizing his competence, but he did so without ostentation. His confidence and clear actions made a strong impression on everyone present. After this meeting, David's attitude changed dramatically. The management, which initially saw him as just a new performer, began to perceive him as a person with leadership qualities and great prospects. He was entrusted with important projects, and his status in the company grew rapidly. David was satisfied that his plan had worked, but this would never have happened if he had been a wimp on the inside. In his new job, he immediately showed that he was not a workhorse, but a powerful lion worthy of respect and recognition. With his new approach to himself, he not only changed the attitudes of his co-workers and management, but also quickly built the career he had always wanted to achieve. So, demonstrate greatness. Behave like a true leader, and you will be accepted as a leader. In a long conversation, if you show yourself vulgar or gray, you will not get respect. In a business meeting, never make a fuss. Hold confident and stately, realizing your value and dignity. Speak little, but weighty. Make your every gesture and word inspire respect. Let others see you as a man who is destined to rule. Real leaders respect themselves and cause the same feeling in others. Therefore, stand confident and majestic. Show that the top is your destiny. Do not allow anyone to doubt your importance. Your actions and manners should constantly confirm your right to leadership. Do not allow anyone to doubt your worth. Your actions and manners should inspire confidence and fear at the same time. Remember, there is no room for modesty and indecision in this world. Running around in circles like a fussy hyena. This is not about you. Always stand confident and majestic like a lion, and by doing so, you will show everyone that wearing the crown is your destiny. Hello. Have you ever asked for help and been refused, despite all your past merits and good deeds? Have you felt disappointed when your sincere requests and reminders of your past good relations went unanswered? In a world where everyone pursues their own interests, mercy and generosity are just a mask to hide the true motives. It's time to realize that appeals to kindness don't work. You have to play by different rules if you want to get your way. The sages of the past understood that people act solely based on their self-interest. The greatest strategists of all time knew that hoping for favor is a path to disappointment and defeat. Only those who know how to manipulate other people's interests will always be able to achieve their own. Ancient philosophers warned, appealing to mercy is a waste of time. People help only when they see a benefit for themselves. This truth has passed through the ages and remains unchanged. In a world where everyone seeks his own benefit, only a cynic and a pragmatist will be able to use it for his own good. One day, Natalie, a successful executive of a large pharmaceutical business, decided it was time for a major expansion of the company. But her ambitions demanded serious resources and more reward than her salary. And for this, she turned to her investors, Joseph and Gabriel. Natalie realized that her plans had a weakness. Both investors were notoriously stingy, and it was highly unacceptable for them to give a percentage of their shares to anyone else. In her years of working with them, she had seen Joseph and Gabriel reward dedicated and loyal professionals like her with only bonuses or small pay raises, never entitling them to a stake in their companies. But Natalie knew that if you approached the issue in a way that put their personal gain at the forefront, you could break their resistance. Natalie presented her expansion project in a way that clearly created new opportunities for Joseph and Gabriel's other businesses as well. And asking for a 10% stake in the pharmaceutical business she ran didn't seem too brazen. Natalie detailed how her plan would not only increase the profits of the pharmaceutical company, but also open up access to new markets for Joseph and Gabriel's other projects. She showed that through this expansion, investors would gain strategic control over markets they had previously been unable to gain a foothold in. Natalie's proposal was not a request to transfer part of the company to her in connection with the expansion, but a plan whereby Joseph and Gabriel would receive much more: access to new markets, customers, and increased capital. Joseph and Gabriel, though used to tough negotiations and unwilling to share profits, realized this time that Natalie wasn't asking for her own gain. She was playing in their best interests, and they could see that. A few weeks later, the investors approved the expansion project presented by Natalie and gave her an 8% stake in the business she ran. Yes, it was a little less than Natalie wanted, but nevertheless she was now a partner in the business, and this was a move to the next level for her. Natalie got her share, and the investors soon began to capitalize on her strategic move. So, if you need to get something, ask for it by appealing to the self-interest of the one you are addressing. Reminding them of their good deeds is a waste of time. People are too selfish to care about the past. They are only interested in what they can get in the here and now. Offer them a benefit. Let them see that helping you will bring them something tangible. For example, if you need a partner to support your project, show them how it will increase their profits or strengthen their position. Your request should be clear, logical, and most importantly, beneficial to him. Don't waste your energy appealing to morals or feelings. It's weak and useless. Only by offering a benefit, you will be able to make people act in your interests. And remember, in this cruel world, only those who know how to play on other people's selfishness can succeed. Hello. Have you ever had cases when people around you started to control you just because you were too predictable for them? Have you noticed that when people understand your actions, they begin to manipulate you, feeling their power? In a world where habit and predictability are anchors, it's important to be able to break those expectations. You can gain an advantage by playing on unpredictability, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty around you. It's time to rethink your strategies and learn how to disrupt those who seek to control you. The sages of the past understood predictability is weakness. They knew that true power belongs to those who keep others in a state of constant uncertainty. People always seek order and predictability because it gives them the illusion of control. However, by violating their expectations, you ruin their plans and make them feel helpless. Philosophers and master strategists have advised against being a slave to habits and letting others predict your actions. In unpredictability lies your strength. One day, Vanessa, an aspiring but very promising chess player from Los Angeles, was faced with the realization that her usual strategies no longer worked at a high level. Always considered an aggressive player, she drew inspiration from the style of great grandmasters such as Bobby Fischer and Paul Morphy. In every tournament, she used attack-oriented strategies such as the attacking Spanish game or Reddy's attacking system. Her aggressive style was successful, but too predictable for experienced opponents. The real challenge awaited Vanessa at an important international tournament, where her opponent was Theodore, a strong chess player from Melbourne, known for his ability to adapt and take the initiative. Everyone had the feeling that Theodore had studied her style in advance and prepared a response, but Vanessa decided to break all his expectations. Instead of attacking, she unexpectedly played the Sicilian defense, one of the most popular and aggressive defensive strategies. This defense usually involves a counterattack through defense, but Theodore was expecting her usual aggressive moves and was not prepared for such a restrained game. He tried to go on the offensive several times, but each time he was faced with Vanessa's unexpected counterplay. After a few rounds, when everyone was used to her calmer style, Vanessa changed her style of play again. In one of the following games, she used French defense, holding the center and forcing Theodore to constantly change strategies. In another game, she suddenly switched to the Caro-Can defense, which knocked her opponent out of his rhythm. Theodore, expecting Vanessa's aggressive schemes, which he had carefully studied, was disoriented by the constant changes. This unpredictable style of Vanessa's wasn't chaotic or unsure. It was a carefully crafted strategy that put her opponent in disarray. She deliberately subverted their expectations by preventing them from predicting her next moves. Theodore, despite his experience, was unable to adapt to the changing tactics and eventually lost. Vanessa won the tournament, and her unexpected moves earned her a reputation for being not just strong, but strategically unpredictable in a good way. Her victory was an example that true strength is not only in knowing strategies, but in the ability to break expectations, make opponents lose confidence, and control the game at all levels. So, become a master of unpredictability. Refuse to engage in predictable behavior so that no one can control you. People who seek to find patterns in your behaviors will lose patience and confidence when confronted with your supposed chaos. Take unexpected steps. Change your plans and behaviors without warning. For example, if you always act reserved and predictable in meetings, suddenly be decisive and radical in your actions. Let those around you not know what to expect from you. Your inconsistency will disorient them, and they will no longer feel confident. By maintaining an atmosphere of unpredictability, you will always be one step ahead. Your detractors will be forever guessing your intentions, and your allies will be forced to adapt to your style. Remember, control of the situation belongs to the one who knows how to shatter expectations and keep others in suspense. In this world, the one who survives is not the one who follows the rules, but the one who creates their own. The real power lies in being unpredictable and keeping everyone in constant tension.